Hello, very good morning to all of the students. So, dear students, we are discussing our inorganic chemistry paper, that is CHI 130, and in that we have started the nitrogen group elements. Today we will wind up the our nitrogen group elements topic, and our topic name is PN compounds and SN compounds. So, first of all, let us see PN compounds. PN compounds means these are the compounds which are containing phosphorus and nitrogen atoms. Phosphorus and nitrogen atoms, they are also called as nitrides of phosphor. Nitrides of phosphor. And what is the definition of these phosphorus nitrogen compounds? What is another name of that PN compounds? That we have to see. These PN compounds are also known as phosphazenes. These PN compounds are also known as phosphazenes. Azenes. We know that the meaning of Aze or azo group is that they are containing nitrogen atom. Okay. So, phosphorus nitrogen compounds are known as phosphazenes. They are also called as, or the other name of these compounds, it is also called phosphonitrile compounds. PN compounds are also known as phosphonitrile compounds. Okay. Then what is the definition of these phosphorus nitrogen compounds? Actually, these are cyclic or chain compounds. These are having cyclic or chain structures containing phosphorus and nitrogen atom. Very simple definition is there. These compounds are containing phosphorus and nitrogen compounds having cyclic or chain structure. Okay. So, they have a closed structure, and the phosphorus atoms in these compounds having two substituents. They are containing two substituents on each phosphorus atom. Okay. So, phosphorus is pentavalent in these compounds. Okay. Phosphorus is pentavalent and nitrogen is trivalent. Okay. So, this is the combination of PN units, and the units consisting in these compounds, they are designated by R2PN units. They are consisting of R2PN units, means one phosphorus atom with two substituents. R is not alkyl group always, R is any group, or we can say any substituent present on the phosphorus atom in this case is designated as R group. Okay. In organic chemistry, we refer this R group as a alkyl group. Okay. But in this case, it may be R group, it may be halogen, it may be other atom, etc. Okay. So, R2PN units are repeating in these cyclic chain phosphorus nitrogen compounds. They are also called as phosphonitrile compounds or phosphazenes. Okay. So, they are also covalent nitrides. These are covalent nitrides. This is the type of covalent nitrides. We have also seen in last lecture that what are the different types of nitrides. Okay. First one is saline or ionic, second one is covalent nitride, and third one is interstitial nitride. Okay. So, phosphazenes are nothing but these are covalent nitrides. Okay. So, let us see the types of these phosphazenes. First, there are mainly three types have been observed for these phosphorus nitrogen compounds. First one is cyclic trimer. All are cyclic, no doubt. Okay. First one is cyclic trimer. Trimer means they are consisting of three repeating units, not repeating units, three units which are consisting of R2PN units. So, when R2PN they are exist in trimer, okay, that compound is called as cyclic trimer. Okay. I am drawing here structure of this trimer, cyclic trimer. Okay. So, this is sulfur, sorry, not sulfur, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3 nitrogen atoms, 3 phosphorus atoms, 1, 2, 3, and on each phosphorus atom there are 2 alkyl groups. So, first R, second R, this is first R, this is second R, this is first R, this is second R. Okay. Now, count the valency of these nitrogen atoms. Each nitrogen is divalent here and each phosphorus atom is tetravalent. So we have to draw alternate double and single bonds between sulfur and between nitrogen and phosphorus atom. Okay. So draw here double bond, here single, then here again double, then again single, here again double. Okay. So now the each phosphorus atom is pentavalent, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and each nitrogen atom is trivalent, 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay. Each nitrogen atom is trivalent. Okay. So this is the structure of cyclic trimer known as R2PN thrice. Okay. These structures might be asked in your examination, okay, or draw or find out the structure of these cyclic trimer phosphagene. Okay. Next type of these phosphagene is cyclic tetramer. Okay. Cyclic tetramer means these R2PN units are existing in tetramer form, that is in 4 units are present in that compounds. Okay. So the structure is again very simple. Okay. Phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus. Okay. Again nitrogen, phosphorus. So 1 2 3 4 nitrogen atoms and 1 2 3 4 phosphorus atoms. 4 phosphorus, 4 nitrogen atoms, and we know that each phosphorus atom is having 2 R groups, 1 2 1 2. Okay. 1 2 and 1 2. Each phosphorus atom is having 2 R groups. Now what is remain? Alternate double and single bonds to compensate the valency of nitrogen and phosphorus atom. Okay. So I am drawing here double bond, single, double, single, double, single, and here double. Okay. So when we draw a double bond between this phosphorus and nitrogen in alternate fashion, then it satisfies the valency of 5 valency of phosphorus and 3 valency of nitrogen atom. Okay. So this is the structure of cyclic tetramer, that is R2PN4. Okay. And the last type of these high polymer, or it is also called as oligomer. It is also called as oligomer, and these oligomer units are repeating units consisting of R2PN. These oligomers or high polymers of these phosphagenes, they are consisting of a long chain of, no doubt they are polymers, so they are consisting of a long chain of, and what is the repeating unit? The repeating unit or monomer present in this polymer is R2PN. Okay. So nitrogen atom, double bond phosphorus here, and each phosphorus is having two R groups. Okay. N times. So this is the structural formula of this high polymer phosphagene or oligomer of phosphagene. Okay. Again in this case nitrogen is trivalent, 1 2 3, phosphorus is pentavalent, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. So bracketed, these all atoms are bracketed, means this is the monomer unit, and after this there is repeating unit, that is again this phosphorus is attached to nitrogen, nitrogen attached to phosphorus, and this is so on. Okay. So this is the structure of high polymer. Okay. So remember these things: cyclic trimer, cyclic tetramer, and high polymer or oligomer. Then preparation or synthesis of this cyclic phosphagenes that we have to see here. Actually the synthesis of chlorine derivatives of these phosphagenes that we have to see. Okay. The reactions are very simple. Okay. So dichlorides are synthesized. Dichloride derivative of these phosphagenes can be synthesized by using a reaction. The reaction is also very simple, that is when we combine phosphorus pentachloride, that is PCl5, with ammonium chloride, that is NH4Cl, at an temperature 130 degree, then we are getting dichlorophosphagene derivatives. Okay. Either trimer or tetramer depending on the value of N. So N PCl5 plus N NH4Cl, okay, N number of PCl5 molecules when combines with N number of ammonium chloride molecules at an temperature of 130 degrees Celsius. Okay, we are getting Cl2PN n times, Cl2Pn n times. Now, what is the change here? We have taken phosphorus pentachloride here, okay. Means the chlorine atoms are directly attached to the phosphorus, hence we are getting dichlorophosphagins. We are getting dichlorophosphagins, means the R group present on the phosphorus is chlorine here. It is halogen, not alkyl group, okay. So, that is why I already told you that the R group is nothing always the alkyl group, okay. So, PCl2 dichloropn, dichlorophosphoros nitrogen compound n times, okay, means when this n is equal to 3, when this n is equal to 3, the compound is Cl2Pn 3, okay, Cl2Pn 3, okay. So, again in this reaction n PCl5 means 3 PCl5, 3 PCl5 plus 3 ammonium chloride at 130 degree Celsius, it will give Cl2Pn thrice, means the structure of that compound will be like this. Just write chlorine instead of R here, you will get the structure of that Cl2Pn thrice, that is a trimer of dichlorophosphagine, okay. So, Cl, 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 here also Cl and here also Cl. This is the structure of what we call Cl2Pn, Cl2Pn thrice, okay. How it is prepared? By combination of 3 molecules of phosphorus pentachloride with 3 molecules of ammonium chloride at 130 degree Celsius, you will get Cl2Pn thrice, and the structure is this one, okay. Once you remember the structure of this R2Pn trimer and tetramer, then you will get you will no any bother to remember all these remaining structures, okay. So, this is the structure of this Cl2Pn trimer. Then when n is equal to 4, when n is equal to 4, then the reaction will be 4 PCl5 plus 4 ammonium chloride, the reaction temperature will be remain same, and you will get Cl2Pn 4 times, Cl2Pn 4 times, that is tetramer of dichlorophosphagine, and structure will be again only change is there, only change the R group by a chlorine atom, and the structure will be here, only 2 chlorine atoms on each phosphorus atom in this tetramer, you will get the structure of this PCl2Pn, that is dichlorophosphagines tetramer, okay. So, this is a very simple synthesis or preparation of phosphagines have been given in your syllabus, okay. So, very simple to remember. One more is there, when this trimer and tetramer both, when this trimer and tetramer, when they are heated at an 290 degree Celsius temperature, then they are transforming into a polymer, they are transforming into a polymer, that is dichlorophosphagine polymer, okay. So, the structure of that high polymer will be like this, replace this R group by chlorine atoms, okay. So, how will you prepare this? Take trimer or tetramer Cl2Pn, this is trimer, okay, and heat this trimer at 290 degree Celsius temperature, okay, you will end up with this product, you will end up with this product, okay. So, it is nothing but a high polymer of phosphagines, high polymer of phosphagines, okay. Then these high polymer phosphagines are this trimer, tetramer and polymer, they are containing chlorine atoms, okay, and we know that chlorine can be easily displaced by another group. So, if we have Lewis bases that is containing lone pair of electrons or a negative charge, okay, having electron rich species, then these chlorine atoms in this trimer, tetramer and polymer can be easily displaced, can be easily knocked out by these Lewis bases, okay. For example, one reaction is given here and that we will discuss here, okay. So, we have Cl2Pn thrice. So, this is a trimer, dichlorophosphagine trimer, okay. When it is reacting with CF3 CF2O minus. Okay, 3 anions. Okay, so this is anion, means it is nothing but the Lewis base. Okay, so when it reacts with this dichlorophosphagen trimer, when it reacts with the Lewis base like this, then all these, so how many chlorine atoms are there? 6. So we have to take 6 here. Okay, so all these 6 chlorine atoms are replaced by these CF3 CF2O, that is hexafluoroethoxide, sorry, pentafluoro, 3 plus 2 5, pentafluoroethoxide anion is there, and your structure or the product of this reaction will be CF3 CF2 CF2O twice Pn. Okay, and they are present in trimer. Okay, so what is changed? These 2 chlorine atoms are replaced by 2 chlorine atoms on phosphorus atom are replaced by 2 pentafluoroethoxide group. Okay, so that's why this reaction is known as a combination of Lewis acid and Lewis base combination. Okay. Then the last point from this phosphagene is nothing but applications or uses of these phosphagenes. So these phosphagenes or phosphorus nitrogen compounds are widely used for different purposes. Okay, first one is HMPA. What is HMPA? Hexamethyl phosphoramide. Okay, the structure is hexamethyl phosphoramide is, the structure is very simple and it is just like CS3 twice N thrice P double bond O. Okay, this is the structure of HMPA. Okay, hexamethyl, so methyl group 2 into 3 6. Okay, hexamethyl phosphoramide, so nitrogen phosphorus bond is there and the phosphorus is having double bond oxygen, so that's why it is just like analog of amide, so that's why it is called as a hexamethyl phosphoramide, and it was used widely as a aprotic solvent. It was used in synthesis of different or reactions of different reactions in chemistry, and it is used as a aprotic solvent. Okay, aprotic solvent means it is a solvent without proton. It is a solvent without proton or without acidic proton, we can say. Such solvents are known as aprotic solvents, because these solvents are not having proton source. Okay, so HMPA, which is a phosphagene, one of the type of phosphagene or phosphorus nitrogen compound, it were used as a aprotic solvent. Then the second one is large cation such as PPN plus, that is bis triphenylphosphine iminium cation. This is a very large cation. Okay, bis triphenylphosphine PS3P double bond N double bond P PS3. Okay, and bis means two groups are there, triphenylphosphine 2 groups are there, so that's why it is called bis triphenylphosphine iminium cation. So this is a cation, and this cation is nothing but a phosphorus nitrogen compound or phosphagene, and this large cation, this size of this cation is very large. This large cation have been used to form salts with large anions, Okay, then you might be asked that what is this use? Because these small cations are unable to form salts with large anions, that's why we require large cations. The size of cations should be large, and hence such large cations can be used to form salts with the large anions. Okay, and that salts can be used for the separation techniques in different fields. So this is the use of this PPN plus cation. Okay, then the third most important application of this phosphagenes is relies in the biomedical applications. Okay. So, what are the biomedical applications? Means these phosphagene compounds can be used in biomedical sciences, that is in medical sciences. Okay. So, what are these applications? First one is all the polymers which are made by these phosphagenes molecules are biodegradable in nature. So, these molecules or these compounds are biodegradable, means they are degraded to a harmless byproducts. Okay. And they are degraded biologically, means they are not producing any harmful side products or byproducts. So, that is why they can be used in the human body. We call it as a in vivo use, in vivo use. Okay. So, what do you mean by in vivo? There are two words in biology, in vivo and in vitro. In vivo means within the body of organism, within the body of, in the body of organism. So, here organism are nothing but human being, we are so that is why these polymers have been used as a in vivo biodegradable polymers. Okay. So, in our body these polymers, so polymers no doubt they are chemically synthesized compounds, and they are what we call foreign bodies, they are foreign bodies for our body, and that is why these compounds can be adjusted by simple transformations. Okay. By changing some properties, these compounds can be used as a biodegradable polymer in our body. Okay. Then these compounds or these polymers can be used in the preparation of different structural devices, that can be used in the bypass surgery, of our heart or blood vessels. Okay. So, that is why these polymers are used for the preparation of heart valves. Okay. So, this is one of the biggest and one of the most important application of these phosphagenes, that you can think that we are using that phosphagene compounds in our heart valves. Okay. When we are doing a bypass surgery for any patient, cardiac patient, then such heart valves made up of phosphagenes, phosphorus nitrogen compounds, can be used in our heart. So, that is why in vivo application is there. Okay. Or to make artificial blood vessels, Okay. If there any blockage in our blood vessels, or we have to do a bypass surgery, then the blood vessels which are made up of phosphorus nitrogen compounds or phosphonitrile compounds can be used in this in vivo surgery. Okay. Then these phosphagenes compounds can also be used as a supports in vivo bone regeneration. Okay. If it is fracture or if it is any break in our bones in our body, okay, then in that cases some surgeries are implemented in such a way that we have to use here phosphorus nitrogen compound, that is phosphagenes, in that places where they can be used as a bone regeneration supports. Okay. So, this is one of the most important application, and one of the and the last application in this biomedical application of these phosphagenes is these compounds can be used in drug delivery system, DDS, drug delivery systems. Okay. When we are consuming the different drugs for different purposes, then such compounds can be used as a drug delivery system. For example, cisplatin. Okay. We know that this cisplatin is also a bioinorganic complex made up of dichlorodiplatinium and dichlorodimine platinate. Okay. Cis dichlorodimine platinate, this is the name of this cisplatin. This is also bioinorganic organometallic compound, and this such type of drugs, it is an anti-cancer drug. This, we are also aware about this, and this such drugs can be used in this drug delivery system. These phosphagenes materials can be used. Okay. So, dear friends, this is all about the phosphorus nitrogen compounds, that is called as phosphagenes or phosphonitrile compounds. Okay. Now, let us see the SN compounds. SN compounds, that is sulfur nitrides. nitrides of sulfur. Okay. These sulfur nitrides are also belonging to covalent type of nitrides. They are also called as covalent type of nitrides. This is the last topic from our chapter, from our lesson. SN compounds, they are also covalent type of nitrides. So, what are the SN compounds? These are binary compounds formed by this nitrogen with sulfur. Binary compounds, or binary nitrides, which are consisting of sulfur and nitrogen atoms. Okay. So, SN compounds are nothing but these are binary compounds or binary nitrides which are formed between sulfur and nitrogen atom. Okay. Then the two most useful sulfur nitrides, sulfur nitrides are, first one is S4N4. First one is S4N4. So, what is this S4N4? The name is very simple, tetrasulfur tetranitride. Tetra means 4, 4 sulfur, 4 nitrogen, tetrasulfur tetranitride. Okay. So, here S4N4 units are there, and these S4N4 units are this tetrasulfur tetranitride, and second one is called as S2N2, that is disulfur dinitride. Both are having covalent bonds, so that is why this is the type of covalent type of nitrides. Okay. Now, first preparation of S4N4. Okay. So, this SCl2, that is sulfur dichloride, when these sulfur dichloride are heated with ammonia, that is either in liquid or in gaseous phase. Okay. These sulfur dichloride, when it reacts with ammonia, then it is giving S4N4 plus acet a substance, that is acet is formed. Okay. And the reaction is S4N4 units, it is forming in solid state. Okay. So, these tetrasulfur tetranitride compounds can be formed by the reaction between sulfur dichloride and ammonia. Okay. So, ammonium chloride is the side product, NH4Cl. Okay. So, this is the reaction, how to prepare that S4N4 units. Now, let us see the structure of this S4N4 units. So, it is a ring structure, it is having a ring structure having 8 atoms. So, all these 8 atoms, 4 sulfur and 4 nitrogen atoms are engaged in one ring. Okay. But the ring, that cyclic nature of that S4N4 structure or that molecule is somewhat twisted. Okay. Simply it is just like a octagon. Okay. S N S N S S N. Okay. So, this is a simple octagon. Okay, structure. Each sulfur atom is alternated by nitrogen atom. Okay. And these two sulfur atoms, the pairs of sulfur atoms are having van der Waals interaction. Okay. So, that is why this molecule is not a regular octagon. Okay. But it is somewhat twisted and the structure will be like this. The structure of this S4N4 unit. So, this is the structure, sulfur attached to nitrogen, sulfur, nitrogen, sulfur, nitrogen, sulfur, nitrogen, sulfur. Okay. And these sulfur, these two sulfur, so this is the pair of sulfur atoms, this is the pair of sulfur atom, they are having van der Waals interaction between them. Okay. So that is why this is not a bicyclic compound, mind well, there is no any bonding between this sulfur and this sulfur, but they are having interactions only and they have non bonded interactions, let us say. Okay. So this is all about S4 N4 units. Okay. So these are acting as a Lewis base because the nitrogen atoms having lone pair of electron on this nitrogen atom. So that is why these nitrogen electron lone pair can be used to form a coordinate bond to the Lewis acids, that is electron deficient species. Okay. And the Lewis acids such as SO3 or BF3 can be formed complex with these S4 N4 units. Okay. Then next one is S2N2. So what is S2N2? It is disulfur dinitrate and the structure is very simple, SNNS. So the structure is looking like a regular square material like this, but the bond angles are somewhat different between SN and NS bond angle. Okay. So this bond angle is 89.6 degree and this bond angle is 90 point something degree. Okay. So this both angles are not exactly 90 degree. So this is 89.6. So that is why this is 90.4 degree. Okay. So this is the somewhat very slightly twisted square like structure, it has S2N2, S2 and 2. Okay. This is structure of disulfur dinitrate. Okay. So how it is formed? When these S4N4 compound is pass over silver wool, that is Ag2S, silver sulphide. Okay. When S4N4 units are passed over silver units, then it is resulting into S2N2, that is disulfur dinitrate. Okay. And the last type of this sulfur nitrogen compound is called as chain or polymeric form. It is called SN n times, SN n times. Okay. And the structure of this SN is very simple, S N S N S N S N etc. So this is having zigzag like structure, the structure is known as zigzag. What is zigzag? This is known as zigzag. Okay. Such structure can be seen for this polymeric S2N2. Okay. And this polymeric S2N2 is having a greatest application in the field of chemistry. Okay. So we have to see the applications or uses or applications of SN compounds. Okay. So what is the first use? See here, sulfur is a non-metal, nitrogen is also a non-metal. Okay. So the polymer of this SN, that is SN n times, these polymer is consisting of both non-metals, that is S and N, that is sulfur and nitrogen. Still this polymer is the first inorganic polymer. I am repeating, this is the first inorganic polymer that have been synthesized, which is showing a electrical conducting property, Okay. So though they are containing a polymer of non-metals, but they are showing a metallic property. And what is that property? That is electrical conductivity. So this polymer is known as a electrical conductor of electricity. Okay. So that is why This is one of the most important application. Then this polymer is showing superconductivity. It is showing superconductivity at 0.3 Kelvin, at 0.3 Kelvin. Okay. So, at very low temperature, that is near about minus 273 degrees Celsius, which is known as 0 Kelvin temperature. So, at this lowest temperature, this polymer can be show, or this is showing a superconductivity. So, what is by superconductivity? The conductivity without resistance, without any resistance, it is called as superconductivity. Okay. So, this is the second application. And third, the halogen derivatives of these SN type of polymers, they are showing more higher electrical conductivity. They are showing even more higher electrical conductivity. Okay. So, this is SN polymer, but if we make halogen derivative of these SN polymers, then for example, SnBr 0.4 x times. So, such type of polymer having bromine, such type of polymer, they are showing even higher electrical conductivity, which is 16 times greater than the simple SN polymer. Okay. So, these are the some of the uses or applications of these sulfur nitrogen compounds or sulfur nitrides. Okay. So, dear students, this is all about our SN compounds, okay, sulfur nitride compounds. Okay. And in this way we have completed our this fifth chapter, that is nitrogen group elements. Okay. So, thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.